1981 Ford Fairmont Fury.
Elite.
Oh, Fairmont Elite. I'm sorry. I'm nervous. My first time. Sorry. I don't see where I can see the comments. Give me a minute. Let me work this out. Oh, okay. Following Cars is here. He says what? Yes.
Hey Jay. Hey Jay, how's it going?
Hello, Miss Spec. Hello, Following Cars.
You might be able to see that this highway is an obstacle course. It's just horrible, but this car's handling it really well. This is what the Ford Fairmont should have been in the US. Unfortunately, it wasn't. The V8, this one has an automatic, very strong automatic transmission. I got it to chirp into second gear passing a truck on the highway. That was fun.
Let us know if you can hear us okay, please.
There's a lot of road noise from the car and the bad road.
This looks like a New York State highway.
Is that a compliment or an insult?
High times 5 sounds good. A good sound.
Okay.
Okay.
Show the speedometer. Can you see it? We're doing about 120 kilometers per hour right now. 75, I guess, miles per hour. If I get up to 130, the steering wheel starts to shake, so it maybe need to balance the front tires or so. But for the last 15 years, this car has just sat in a garage. They took it out on a Sunday to do whatever, but it hasn't been out on a long trip in all this time, and it's just doing wonderfully. Other than when I come to a stop, the alternator light starts flashing, but I don't think it's got a charging problem. Just like the last carryall that I delivered, the alternator light kept flashing, and then if I turn the headlights on, the alternator light goes out. So maybe it's a regulator problem, but all these Fords keep lying to me about the charging. Message.
Okay.
Maybe it's Ford Fairmont. Maybe it's Fred Fairmont.
I'm sorry. Like in the movie Canadian Bacon. I can't see the messages. It's so fast. Let me see if I can go in the chat with my phone.
We're gonna try to double team it here. See if she can see the comments on her phone, because it's hard to see it on the live. You have to make sure it's hard to see it. Keep the screen up.
Sorry, just give me a second.
And there is a delay, so the delay's really gonna mess with us.
Okay, so it says, Following Cars says, I'm sorry, like in the movie Canadian Bacon, whatever you say, you have to say in Spanish.
En serio? Who's gonna understand that? People here really don't understand my Spanish. And I'm fine with that. There's such a difference between this car and the carryall that I brought back last time. There was about 20 degrees of play in the steering wheel on the steering, and this thing is just as tight as can be. Just moving around the lanes, just barely touching the steering wheel.
Following Cars says I'm doing well, so stop complaining.
I'm not complaining. I'll complain afterwards. But what you're not gonna see, Jay, on the highway out here are police cars. They don't patrol. They don't hunt the people here. So if I want to do 120 miles an hour, I could do it if the car could. And nobody would say anything about it. It's kind of dumb on these kind of highways with so many trucks, but I've seen people whiz past me really fast. I just don't see it necessary.
Looks like it drives well, and the weather looks great.
Yeah, it's a really clear sky. And we're in our leg. We're coming up to Culiacan, and luckily this highway takes us around it, so we don't even have to see it, or they don't know we're passing. So there's no danger for us there. And then it's another 2 hours to get home. We have been on the road for a full week searching for one of these cars. The other ones didn't work out for many, many reasons, and I'm going to be doing videos about that because I have videos of the cars we went out to see and how horrible they were.
The Mexican Autobahn? I don't know what that is. Sorry.
Autobahn is a highway in Germany that there's no speed limit.
Oh, okay.
No, there are speed limits here, and the speed limit here is 110. So I do need to slow it down a little bit. There we go. 110 is good. This car has about a 10-gallon gas tank, if you can believe that, with a V8 engine. And when we left Durango, which is where I bought the car, it was 214 or 220 kilometers to get to Mazatlan. And there's no gas stations in between on that road because it's through the mountains. And this car just couldn't make it. So we got about halfway and we saw a sign for a gas station, but we had to go 10 kilometers off the highway into a very small town to put gas in it, then 10 miles back. And then we could continue our trip. But in the first leg, this car got 12 miles per gallon. And on the second leg, it got over 16. So the engine must be working itself in and just working a lot better.
On my car was just kidding. That's good fuel mileage. That e-void says, I'm in 7 minutes.
That's okay, Vaughn. That's okay, Dan. Está bien. No hay problema. But this is what I do. You know, I talk about it a lot in the chats. But I actually do go out and buy cars. This car was for a follower of Buff Del Campo. And his name, he should be in the chat now. We told him we were going live. His name is Lester LeSabre, but we have now dubbed him Fred Fairmont. It is so enjoyable to drive this car. Just point the car and go. No drama. Just as solid as can be.
That e-void says that dash pad is mint.
It's got 2 cracks right here in the speaker, but the history behind this car was the first owner had it for 4 years and basically sat in the garage. Great, now we have motorcycles crossing in front of me. Really smart.
Careful.
Really, really smart.
It says you should have a Buick. Yeah, we should have a Buick. I missed something. On my car says he should have a Buick.
Who?
On my car says he should have a Buick.
Who should?
I don't know.
Lester? He has a LeSabre. That's why he named himself that at his house. But now this car is going to be the crown jewel of his collection. So he's now Fred Fairmont. But the history behind this car was the first owner had it for 4 years.
Yeah, the LeSabre guy.
Basically parked in the garage. Then sold it to the next owner who had it for 24 years. Then an older lady parked it in the garage. Then this man bought it, and same thing, last 15 years he's parked it in the garage, and he died, and his daughter, who was the executor of the will, sold us the car and signed all the documents, and we have the whole thing documented. And the reason I know all of this is because on the original invoice is the ownership document of this car from the day it was sold new in September of 1981. On the back, the first owner signed it off 4 years later, the next owner signed it off 24 years later, and then this owner signed it off to us. So Lester LeSabre will be the fourth owner.
We have Lester LeSabre on the chat saying that's right, and Dan says my dad had a native LeSabre. But yeah,
They're very good drivers.
Lester on the chat now.
Hi Lester, how are you today? You can see your car, how solid it is driving. You're going to enjoy driving this car so much. But like I said before, when it gets down to lower idles, the alternator light is flashing at me. Then when I pull on the headlight switch, or if I put on the brakes, the alternator light goes out. So I'm thinking it's maybe the voltage regulator or something. That, I don't know, the Ford Carryall that I recently delivered did the same thing to me, and I stopped at 2 different auto zones and had to bring out the machine to check it, and it was charging at 13.5 the whole time, you know, high revs, low revs, whatever. So the light was lying to me, and I'm assuming it's the same thing with this because it's starting fine. If it comes on a little bit more solid, I'll take a screwdriver and see if it magnetizes to the back of the alternator, and if it does, then it's charging. So I don't have anything to worry about. But I don't think there's a problem with it. We'll check it out when we get home.
Dan says, car must have been kept out of the sun. Look at how much chrome is left on that instrument panel.
Yeah.
Vessel.
And the marker. Show the speedometer. Look how bright the orange is on that speedometer marker. There's no fading at all on this whole dashboard. And as Dennis would say, Dennis Collins, the gauges are crisp gauges.
Lester says, I like it better without a dash rug.
Yeah, me too, because it kept falling down on us.
Dan says, could be a wiring issue. Or by car says, by ground perhaps.
It could be, but this is now two Fords doing the exact same thing. Oh, here we have to pay some money. This is a toll road, by the way. They charge us money to drive on this horrible road.
Give us a minute. It's gonna be a bit of an issue here to hold the phone steady.
Yeah, let's see.
Dan says 13.5 is a little low after startup.
How much do they want now? 218 pesos.
200. Here you go.
220. You get change. Buenos días. Gracias.
Once again.
There's a lot of flashing lights up here, so let's see what this is. There's a car with its hood open. There's some police trucks here. We may have to aim the phone down.
Phone car says Mrs. Spec speaks better English than you. Well, there you go.
Well, she learned it from me, so she...
No, I speak better. No, there you go.
She speaks more well? Is that what it is? We may have to tilt the phone down so the police don't see that we're recording, because they don't like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're checking us or
if there's an accident or something.
Yeah, they're checking us.
Oh, okay. We may have to go incognito in a minute.
Yeah.
So be quiet. Don't make any noise.
You'll get to hear me speak English, Spanish to some police officers. Are they taking that car apart?
No.
They're taking things out.
Can you see?
They just took the wipers off.
The wipers?
Yeah.
What do they want with the wipers?
I don't know.
I'm gonna hide. Hold on.
Get out of the way.
All the
These are the men in black.
Dan says remove the wipers to get down into the cowl. Kiwi's here. 1 minute, guys.
Buenos días. Gracias.
Okay, that was fast.
Okay. You see, there's a strategy.
Kiwi's here.
Kiwi?
Kiwi Classics and Customs.
Hey, Kiwi. How are you? You want a Fairmont? We're driving a Fairmont back for a customer, a 1981 Fairmont Elite, which was the top of the line model here. Power steering, power brakes, power windows, power locks, power seat, and an automatic transmission that had to be imported from the US because there was none made in Mexico.
Okay, hold on. The chat wanna be crazy. Car says, be safe. Any trouble, send me your GPS location. We will send the troops. Send in the troops.
I don't think that would be appreciated here because they'll think it's coming from Trump.
Then he says, wow, we could be witnessing history.
Now, here's the strategy. I'm an old guy driving an old car. They have no use to look for anything. I haven't shaved in 5 days, so that's why they just wave me through.
Dan wants to know what hombres and negro mean.
Men in black. Sometimes they even have their face covered. And sometimes they're not police. We went through one check. There was no official cars anywhere. There was a Mitsubishi pickup that had a red and blue flashing light by the windshield wipers. And again, they just saw us and go right through. They're looking for money. They're looking for anything they can take. And there's nothing that somebody driving an old car like this has that they want. So it's a strategy that we have to use.
Kiwi says it sounds like a cool car.
A what?
It sounds like a cool car.
Oh, this car has 68,000 original kilometers on it, Kiwi. This car has been sitting in a garage for most of its life, as you can tell from the dashboard, the condition of the dashboard, the condition of the gauges. It was well taken care of. A very, very nice car. 302 V8, 3-speed automatic, just as solid as can be. So enjoyable to drive.
Car says, so you're saying that being ugly gets you by, but Mrs. Spec would get their attention.
Yes, she would, but they're looking for money, so if we don't have any money, they don't want to talk to us. That other car they were taking apart, they had everything out of the trunk. The guy must have said something that they didn't like or something, I don't know. But, woo, woo-hoo. This whole trip, they've just waved us through every time we came to one. We're going to be coming to another one after we pass Culiacan. And we have been stopped there. Usually they ask, where are you coming from? Where are you going? I don't know if the fact that we have plates from Durango on here mean that we're not from an area that's rife with drugs. We've come through with Jalisco plates. You know, they have their own cartel there. We've come with Nuevo Leon plates, which was more north. So they said, you know, we might be bringing in, you know, whatever, going to Sinaloa. So I don't know if the Durango plates help. It's possible.
Kiwi says, nice. How do you find these gems? Dan said,
It might have.
yeah.
We're out of nowhere. There's nothing here. Sinaloa is an agricultural state. So this is where they grow things. Kiwi, I find these cars on Facebook. We have been on the road for a week because we went to Mexico City to get a blue one. That guy said, I can't show it to you during the week no matter what. If you can't see it on the weekend, I don't really need to sell it. Then we started looking at other ones and they were all horrible. Then we found the perfect car, a white one. Same thing as this, except it had bucket seats and a floor shift automatic. We went round in circles with that seller, and I'm going to do a video on that, but he ended up selling it to somebody else when we kept telling him, we wanted the car. Sorry, I've got a cough for some reason. So that left a bad taste in our mouths. And then we got on a bus and got out of there, went to Guadalajara and saw another one there, but the whole roof was rusted out on it. So that didn't work. And then we found this one, which was about 400 kilometers away from there, and went there and made the deal. And it turns out to be the best car that we could have gotten.
All the cars are asking if it's COVID.
No, it's not. It's not a virus I have, it's for a different reason. I've never had COVID. I know, I was checked. Who are these 9 people that are watching but not commenting? Leave a comment.
Yeah, guys, leave a comment. Say hi.
You can see all the corn here. A lot of the corn comes from here, but this is white corn, which Mrs. Mexican Spec loves, but I'm not a fan of. I like yellow corn. When we went to Mexico City, all the tortillas are made with yellow corn. So they have a different color, they have a different taste. All the food there is different than what we're used to here. Every region of Mexico has their different food because all of their ingredients are grown locally. And like you go to a taco place, everything you get on your plate was processed that day. There's nothing frozen, you get nothing frozen, and the taste is just unbelievable. And there's no extra chemicals in the food, so you don't get sick on anything.
Lester says it was fate you got this car.
Yeah.
And Honocar says when they have you turn and cough at the doctor, they aren't checking for COVID.
Exactly, and I do need that too.
Dan says my friend was an exchange student in Mexico and then in the mid-80s, and his host family had a Maverick.
Yeah, the Maverick is a different story because in the US, the Maverick was brought out as a 6-cylinder economy car, just like the Falcon. And which was weird that the Falcon offered a V8, but the first Mavericks didn't. It was really weird. But in Mexico, there were no 6 cylinders here for the Mavericks. It was Mexico's sports car. All of them had V8s, and the majority of them, if not all of them, had the stick shift on the floor, the four speed on the floor. So they're really fun to drive. The 4 doors even had the stick shift. I think you could get them with an automatic just like this. They would import the transmission and put it in there. But the 4 speeds are much better car.
One with cars says you have racist corn there?
We have what?
Racist corn there?
Racist corn?
Yeah.
Well, we have access to everything, but there's not really racism here. There's colorism. The lighter-skinned Mexicans are thought to be...
Another toll booth?
Another toll booth. The lighter-skinned Mexicans are thought to be richer because they don't work outside in the fields, and the darker-skinned Mexicans are thought less of because, well, there's only one lane open. Okay. Caseta San Pedro.
We have a person called Asman97, and he says, el camino tiene muy buena pinta, qué gran día para conducir. So the road has really good looks.
38.
Great day to ride. What?
30, ¿cuánto? 50.
There you go, my last bill.
Gracias. Pues la carretera no es muy suave, pero el tiempo está muy bien.
Okay, Spanish Car says, when are we getting a tour of the Gulf of America? I don't like that comment, but okay. Let's keep moving on. It says, Maverick says, was there placement for the Falcon up here?
Placement of the what?
What a Maverick was the replacement for the Falcon up here.
Yes, it was the same here.
Farmer Car says, this is the most fun live stream I have watched in a while.
You're not watching many live streams, are you?
Dan says, I wouldn't have gone as far as renaming. Hold on. I'm doing 2 things at once. Hold on. I wouldn't have gone as far as renaming the Gulf, but I won't protested in the streets about it.
Well, I don't know if it makes sense because it's the continent of America. They're not talking about the government, the country of America. It's the continent. The Gulf is between Mexico and the U.S., and that's all America. So I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me one way or the other, but I seriously doubt it's going to stick and people are going to put it on their maps.
Phone card says you are in Pennsylvania, a toll booth every few miles.
Oh, there is an advantage to paying the tolls here in that if we have the receipt, there's free roadside assistance that if you break down, they'll come change a tire for you, they'll come do whatever and get you back on the road at no charge. So there is an advantage to it. We can go on the free road, but it's a lot worse and probably a bit more dangerous.
Yep.
So we just stayed, you know, if it costs an extra $100 for the whole trip, which is like 2,000 pesos, it's well worth it.
Dan says another night toll booth, it's just like USA.
No, they're not that close together, but like there's like on the way north, there's one for like 400 pesos, and then you don't get that far before you have to pay some more. So it's not really, you don't get your money's worth out of it. But I can tell you, they're not fixing the roads with that money here. When I take it north, as soon as you leave Sinaloa and get into Sonora, they've been working on the roads in Sonora for decades, and it just smooths out completely. There's no potholes, there's nothing. It's much better. They don't do anything with the roads here in Sinaloa. And then because of the heat we have here, the trucks leave grooves in the right side, so then they have to repave it every once in a while, and you know, there's always construction, but they're not really making it better. They're just making it what it was before. So I stay in the left lane. I know that's not allowed in the U.S. You're parking in the left lane and you'll get a ticket for it, but there are no highway patrol out here. There's no cop cars out here. And in Sinaloa, National Guard patrols, but they have much bigger things to worry about than if you're staying in the left lane of the highway.
So Homely Car says to your comment about not watching many live streams because you said that this one is fun. He says, I have. This is cool. Never been to Mexico and it makes me want to visit. Lester says, that's a nice service we don't have here. Dan says, I guess I can't approve of everything he does with no voters remorse here.
Yeah.
Curtis is here. Curtis Randall.
Okay.
Hey,
Hi, Curtis.
Spec. This is nice looking drive. What year did you already sell this one?
Yes, Lester LeSabre is in the chat, and it is his car. We have renamed him Fred Fairmont. This is a nice drive. What we have to do is we left Durango, which is in the middle of the country, and we come down and we go through the mountains there, which was why we couldn't go live yesterday. There wasn't a solid internet signal because we have to go through a lot of tunnels and all of that. So we came down out of Durango and we entered Sinaloa, and there was some bad guys there and stopped everybody on the highway looking for whatever. And they saw us. We're just old. I'm just an old guy driving an old car, and they just waved us through. Have a nice day. Fine. I'm not going to argue with that. So then we get into Mazatlan and we rented a room because you just absolutely should not drive on the highways at night in Mexico. Very bad things happen. So we rented a room. We went and had dinner at this place. And I told Buff Del Campo last night in the chat. I had a full rack of ribs. Mexican Spec had a plate of breaded shrimp with a bunch of sides and a salad and our drinks, and the total bill came to $25 US. Filled me up, no problem. Really good ribs too. Good barbecue sauce. So then we stay the night there, and from Mazatlan, it's only 4 hours to get home. And I know this road really well, so I'm very comfortable driving it.
Dan says I-75 in Cincinnati is grouped from big trucks.
And they don't fix it? It's dangerous.
He also says, congratulations, Lester, for your car. And for your purchase, I guess.
Yeah.
Lester answered, thank you, Dan. Mex and his wife have done a great job.
And I'm going back to a ton of messages that people want more cars, and that's because the carryall that I sent over there, the truck was transported to New Jersey, and the buyer sent, I'm going to say a friend of his, who was a younger guy, to go pick it up, and he obviously had not driven an old Ford before, and he kept talking down the truck, like, what is this thing? Oh my God, it's so ugly. Excuse me. Then there's play in the steering wheel. And we all know it's an old Ford, it's gonna have play in the steering wheel, no power steering. So, whatever. So there was over 1,000 comments basically tearing the guy down and complimenting the truck. But there were so many people in there that said, I want one, I want one, I want one. So I went in there and said, I'm your Mexican connection for carryalls. And Jason, Jason Fitch, who helps me, he crosses them and gets license plates and titles and everything over there, if need be. He was also in there correcting people, about the provenance of the truck and how it was made and everything else. And I have a huge list of people that have contacted me that want more of those carryalls. But I can't, I don't like to do anything from the phone. So I have to get back to my computer. But our plan was to go to Mexico City on Wednesday night, buy the car, have it checked out buy the car on Thursday, get it checked out on Friday, and leave early Saturday morning, go to Querétaro, take a video of a really nice 1978 carryall there, then from there head to Guadalajara for the night, and then make our trip back home to Mazatlan and then back home. Well, none of the sellers in Mexico City cooperated with us. So what is this, construction?
Yes, construction.
Or they just want more room for their
there's a
tractor?
Construction.
Yeah, but there was no construction back there.
They were doing something. I don't know.
So none of the sellers in Mexico City cooperated with us. I mean, to a point that I'm not anxious to go back there. But on the positive side, we did make contacts with the driver that the driver from the airport took us around in the airport van to wherever we need to go. On the first trip, we went 2 hours north. I think we were in Querétaro to look at a blue Fairmont Elite, and that was horrible. And then we came back, did nothing on Saturday, and on Sunday we went to look at another one, which was another 2 hours away. And what is this?
I think it's a checkup.
It's a checkpoint with a police car, a police truck.
1 second. 1 second. I'm gonna lower my hand up a little bit.
Yeah, these guys do not like to be recorded because it's dangerous for them. Okay, just to slow us down, I guess. I don't know who they're checking. But I see people in the. Okay.
One of the cars says, a friend of mine drove back to Buffalo from South America in approximately 2005 throughout Mexico in the middle of the night. Got stopped and shook down for money.
Yeah.
Dan says, Casa Lupita, a Mexican chain started by Ponderosa, had a diner called the Mazatlan.
People bring their food to the U.S. and then they open up restaurants from the different areas of the country. I'm not sure what Mazatlan cuisine is, but
it's seafood.
Probably.
Yeah.
More construction.
Lester says, I think you found your moneymaker in carryalls.
Yeah, but there's only a couple of dense-side carryalls that are even available. And most of them have rust on it. This one in Querétaro is a completely clean, unrusted vehicle. And here's another toll booth.
Yeah. Foreign car says, Mrs. Spec, if you can show some of the cars and trucks and you pass, I can drive, but I'm doing two things.
There's not many. There's not much traffic out here right now. And I am not complaining about that at all.
Unfortunately, I'm doing like 2 or 3 things at once.
97.
So I'll try.
Just keep the wallet out.
No quiero.
Buenos días.
Just did you go?
Uh-oh, they're checking us again here.
Well, then I'm not leaving my wallet up. 1 second.
Speed bump, speed bump.
You can see the police officer out there.
Then I'm gonna leave my window down.
I'm gonna put my wallet back in.
The police department here, whoever they are.
Says, is the elite patch original? Yes, it is.
Yes, that is the top of the line model for this car. If it's not an elite, then it does not have the air conditioning, it does not have power accessories or any of that stuff. So it was Lester was going to put air conditioning in another car with vintage air, but we might as well just buy one with factory air, and instead of having to cut out the whole bottom part of the dashboard to put it in there. Show the, well, no, I can't.
No.
There's
No, you cannot.
these Ford trucks are new, I guess.
He was looking at me intently. I was kind of afraid.
These Ford trucks that they're using, I don't recognize the headlight style or the tail light style.
Can I zoom in on this thing?
No, don't mess with it.
Yes, actually, that's a little bit better.
Okay.
Okay, hold on.
Was a bit of
I got
cutoff.
messages. Curtis says, you do find some unique rides, Spec. I bought a car hauler trailer from Mexico once and had it delivered to El Paso. I would do it again. I wish my Spanish was as good as your English. Okay.
Wait. Curtis, the thing about coming to Mexico, and because I see a lot of Facebook comments about, I'll just go get it myself because, I charge money to do what I do. And I would like to see somebody come and do that, because if you buy something from the interior of the country, they can't accept dollars. You have to do pesos. So you have to have a way to change your dollars for pesos without actually bringing the dollars into the country. Because in any of these military revisions, they're going to take it from you. So then you have to have everything in order. And then if the previous buyer takes the license plates off the car, and you're going to get stopped driving it with no plates. So there's just so many things that you have to know what to do, and more importantly, what not to do in Mexico, or where to go and where not to go. Like in Sinaloa here, you absolutely do not drive into a small town. That is where the cartel is. And if you're in an SUV with tinted windows and you don't pull the windows down, they will just start shooting at you because they assume that you're from a different cartel. They don't even care. So there's just a lot of rules that you have to abide by, and you have to know what to do just to be safe. It's not worth it for a U.S. resident to come here and do what I do. It's just not.
Lester says you are worth what you charge.
Thank you, Lester. I mean Fred. Thank you, Fred. We put in our work on this one. We expected to be home on Monday in the morning.
Yes.
And Mrs. Mexican Spec has a job that she was supposed to be at on Monday night. And it's already 2 days after that. But we don't give up. I really hate to lose. So on this car here, we were sitting in the hotel room in Guadalajara, and she had just bought bus tickets for us to go home. And 30 seconds after that, the owner of this car messages us, yeah, the car's available. When do you want to come see it? So now we have bus tickets that we haven't used that's good for another 12 months. So we will use them. So then we started making arrangements, and we went to the bus station to see when the bus time is, to go to Durango. And of course, they only had buses leaving at 10 p.m. So we had to waste the whole day. We went out to lunch with a friend and his daughter. And this is the guy that sold me my 2 station wagons in 2008. I still have my 69 Chevy station wagon that he sold me. It's in the backyard, Chevy Kingswood station wagon. But I've kept in touch with him, and he's a really good guy. And that's what you're going to find in Mexico. Really good people that'll do anything for you. But the press only tells you about the violence and the bad people. If you had never been to Mexico, you would be really surprised at how warm the people are here.
Yes.
I do not live in a tourist area, and I would never want to live in a tourist area. In the restaurant we were in last night, it was filled with old Americans, senior citizens. And it was because they have a happy hour between 5 and 6, 2 for 1 drinks or whatever, I don't know. But I don't know if a cruise came into Mazatlan or whatever, but they were just all over the place. And I don't talk to them. If anybody asked me anything, I would answer in Spanish.
Juan Ricard says, only ever seen one car with Mexican plates in my life, a student at a Buffalo college. Then it says, I'm surprised Mrs. Spec didn't, I'm surprised Mrs. Spec didn't tuck the bus and leave you home. I'll leave you there, sorry. Tuck the bus home and leave you there.
No, she's not that kind of wife. We're partners in this. And she needs to be my navigator. She handles the GPS. I keep my eyes on the road.
Stephen Andrews is here.
Hi, Stephen.
Hi, Mrs. Mexican Spec from DDG Land.
Ask what it is.
I don't know what is DDG Land.
Good question.
Okay. And Dan says, I think I've seen Mexican plates up here a few times.
If you're in Arizona, California, Texas, New Mexico, Nevada, any of the states close to Mexico, they're all over the place. There's an Instagram channel called Mexican Cars USA, and they post all the sightings of Mexican cars. And of course, they're all over the southern states, but you'll see them in Canada, you'll see them in the northern states, you'll see Mexican cars in European countries that still have the Mexican plates on them.
It's the garage.
Oh, DDG.
Yeah, DDG. That's what
I thought you said TDG.
No.
Oh, okay. DG land, which is Washington, way up there.
Okay.
I'm gonna get Jamie to buy one from me sooner or later. We have there's a 1990, I think it's a 1992 Dodge Carryall, kind of a long wheelbase, a red one. Looks really good, drives well and everything. It's really solid. Slant 6, 4-speed. Somebody over there should buy it to match their red pickup truck. There's very few Dodge Carryalls that I've seen. Of course, it's not a passenger model. It's a cargo model. But that means that you can customize the interior. Are we still on?
Yes.
That means you can customize the interior, put anything you want to in it, put a V8 in it, make it into anything you want. But it looks good. Of course, it wasn't red from the beginning, from the start when it was being used as a commercial truck. Just the outside has been painted red.
Car says, went to Arizona. I see Canadian plates every day though. Curtis says, definitely worth it. I bought the trailer off eBay and paid down payment with PayPal, then cash in person when I picked it up in El Paso. Lots of Mexican plates here in New Mexico too.
Yeah. Dan
says, Cummins Carryall would be cool.
We could put a Cummins engine in it if we can find one. There's another car in New Mexico with Mexican plates, because that's where the 81 Valiant Volare went. I delivered it to him in Nogales, Arizona, and he took off immediately to drive it back to New Mexico. His mother was following him in her car and convinced him to stay at a hotel at nighttime because the car had no heater, a vent that was open under the dash, and very cold. So he listened to his mommy, and he stayed overnight. And he got back to Arizona, to New Mexico with no problem. He loved driving it. He really enjoyed driving the car back. But I think it still has Mexican plates on it, though. He made a little mistake and didn't go to the right crossing, the commercial crossing, and therefore the car is not imported into the U.S. legally. It's not in the system as imported into the U.S. He has all the documents, but it's not in the system. So I'm not sure if I'm going to have to send him a message to see if he's cleared that up. He's working with the customs agent to get that taken care of.
One car says LS Swap Carryall.
as long as you don't tell anybody or ever open the hood, because Dodge people would probably string you up. Maybe a Hemi, a modern Hemi switch, but that's a whole lot of wiring in a truck that shouldn't have any wiring at all. It's never going to be a race truck, so just a Mexican 318 would be good.
I think it's bad signal here.
Huh?
Hellcat swap.
That means another Hellcat is off the road, which is a good thing. It's pretty nice in this part right now. I don't see too many potholes that I have to get around. Not a lot of road noise either. This car has some Euskadi tires on it, and they just hold the road really well. The steering is so tight, I just barely touch the steering wheel to move it around. What a difference from the Carryall that had so much play in the steering wheel, which didn't bother me. It is what it is.
Well, that's an insult, so I'm not going to read that comment.
What?
Car says EV charger swapped in.
What?
Electric vehicle charger swapped in.
It doesn't work in their cars. Why would it work in ours? No, we don't do electricity. It's really hard. Like I said before, that when we left Durango, this car has a 10-gallon gas tank and was getting 12 miles per gallon. We had to go 214 kilometers, which would have been a little over 120 miles. So we would not have made it. I know we would not have made it. So we had to get off and go 9 kilometers into a town, put gas in, come 9 kilometers back, which was a risk because who knows who's on that little road. But we had to do it, so we were able to do it. But there is not one charger for an electric car out here on the highway. None. So electric cars, unless you're driving only around town, completely worthless. Here we have more emergency lights flashing.
Dan says, big heavy real truck will tax the electric drivetrain hard.
Yeah. Here we go. Here's the men in black. Oh, we're past Culiacan, right?
And I'll have to check. I don't know.
Oh, he's not stopping. He's not stopping our side.
Okay, maybe I can show it then.
No, down.
Okay,
I
sorry.
don't like to be filmed.
Hello. Oh, it's another painting. Okay, never mind. They're just doing construction, but it was police.
Okay, yeah, they got flashing lights there.
They're just showing that there's construction on this side.
It's weird for them to have police trucks there, though. They are checking for something. They don't waste their time.
It says, Kiwi says, I'm enjoying this, man. I just have you playing while I work on the F100.
That's great, Kiwi. I'm gonna send you some pictures of a Carryall, which would be it's a Carryall panel truck, a 1982. It looks like a Bronco panel truck. And believe me when I tell you that if you paint your name on the side of it and take it to car shows, everybody at that car show will want you working on their vehicle because they've never seen anything like it. And it's a really nice truck. It's a brown and yellow kind of. You might want to paint it whatever colors, but it actually looks like a Bronco. It's a 2-wheel drive Bronco panel truck, same size, same wheelbase, everything. They sold what they call a Ford F200 in Mexico with a Bronco package. So it has the Bronco removable roof and looks like a Bronco, but it's 2-wheel drive. The way you could tell the difference between the U.S. Broncos and that vehicle here is the gas door is right behind the left door and not at the back of the left side like the U.S. trucks are. And that is the same reason that they didn't put a door on the left side of the Carryalls, because that's where the gasoline was, which is where it is on a pickup truck. They didn't move the gas tank when Ford sold the half cab and chassis to sent the cab and chassis to the conversion company to make the carryalls. They didn't move the gas cap, the inlet to the back of the truck like they should have. They just left it where the pickup was. So they couldn't put a door on the left side. So they made some 3 doors and then they made some 2 doors. But that Bronco panel truck would work really well for you, Kiwi.
Dan is calling it a Helio.
That will work. That'll absolutely work.
Yes.
That'll absolutely work. We could move the steering wheel to the other side if you want, Kiwi.
And Dan is asking, are the MIBs police or cartel?
It's hard to tell. The ones that were when we came out of Durango, they were definitely cartel. Definitely. Oh, another closed lane. They were definitely cartel because there was nothing police-like about them. But they do not have any insignias. They don't have. Sometimes they have these big trucks that'll X-ray the vehicle as you go by. But obviously those are official people. But we don't know what department they work for. If they are military or if they are police, we don't know anything about them, and it's not necessary to know anything about them. We just need to get through, and that's it. The last time I came through with the 77 carryall, at the one between Culiacan and our town, the only thing they're all younger guys, and he's never seen one of them before. A closed pickup truck. He's never seen one before. So all he wanted to know was about the truck. He didn't want to know where we were going, where we were coming from. Well, what is this? What engine's under the hood? What is this? Who made it? All that stuff. So that's fine. That's fine. When we came through with Jason's truck, the 82 carryall, it was at nighttime, and they made us both get out. They went through the truck, they opened the hood, they were checking in all the compartments. They didn't take anything apart, but they were looking for everything. So I was out there talking to everybody, and Mrs. Mexican Spec was showing them anything on the passenger side they wanted. And then when all that was over, they asked me, so what are you going to do with the truck? Are you going to restore it? You're going to do this? You're going to do this? All these are young people, right? So yeah, we're going to restore it. We're going to paint it, do all that. So as long as we don't look nervous when they're looking over the truck, which I really couldn't care if they're looking over the truck, as long as we don't look nervous, they're fine. If we start to look nervous that, they're getting to this area, they're trained to look at us as much as they're looking at the vehicle. So, and that I go back to, if an American comes here to buy a vehicle, because I'll tell you a situation was with, I think it was with the white car, the white Valiant. And I don't think they were military, but we stopped at one of these revisions, and the head guy comes over and he says, "Where's your money?" I said, "What money? Where is your money?" I said, "What money? What money would I have? Where's your money?" I said, "What money?" I took everything out of my pocket. It was like, I don't know, 500 pesos or whatever. And I put everything there, and he's where's the other money? I said, "What other money?" He says, "Where's your money?" I said, "It's in my bank where Hacienda, our IRS department, says I have to have it." And he says, "Well, where's your ID?" I give him my government ID here. "Where's your other ID?" I said, "What other ID? Where is your other ID?" Look, see that van right there is from Quebec in Canada. They are a long way from home. Long way from home. So this guy asked me, "Where's your ID?" This is my ID. This is all that I have. That and my driver's license. And he got frustrated and he walked away and he put his arm back like he was dismissing me. The situation is because I have white skin and I just bought the vehicle. So he was looking for the dollars that I would have left over from buying the vehicle. So he was going to steal whatever I had left. And when I showed him, I didn't have any, he's like, "Well, how are you going to get to Los Mochis if you don't have any money?" I said, "My wife has 800 pesos for the tolls, for the toll booths. That's all we need." So he was going to steal whatever money that we had, and especially if I had he was looking for a U.S. passport. That's what he was looking for, my other ID. But I don't have a U.S. passport because I'm a Mexican citizen. So if an American comes here and buys a vehicle, they are going to be a target at every one of these revisions. When I leave my town to To go north, there are 6 military revisions, military inspections that I have to go through. And the first one is where they really check you out. And then the ones after that, if they see your license plates, they know you went through the first one, so they're less likely. But I have seen them take people out of cars. You know, they have U.S. plates on them. The cars are loaded with luggage and everything. Who knows what they could have in there? Or if they're like driving BMWs, Mercedes, very expensive vehicles, they want to see everything you have. So our strategy is to look a bit scruffy, driving these old vehicles, and we obviously don't have any money. This car is 44 years old. They don't know how much I paid for it or how much it's worth. It's just an old car. So they don't look too close. They have been, the past 2 or 3 times, they've just been waving us through. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Not even asking where we're coming from or anything. So the strategy seems to be working, and I'm going to stick with it.
Comment card says you should splice this live into shorts. Super awesome.
Thank you, Jay.
Also says a carry-all, yet you're carrying nothing. Ironic.
Yes. But they do carry all. The last carry-all that I sold was originally owned by a convent of nuns. There was enough room for, let's see, 3, 3, and 3, so 9. But being nuns, they probably put 4 of them on each seat. So that was 12 people in the truck, and the truck had no power steering, no power brakes, no heater, no air conditioning, and a huge steering wheel. And I bet the driver had huge arms. She had to drive that thing around town, because it was not easy to maneuver that truck in traffic and park it and everything else. I had a good time driving it, but you know, with somebody right next to you, the 3 people or 4 people in the front, because it had 3 bench seats in it. But yeah, it was owned by nuns to begin with. I drove that truck 24 hours all the way to the border. Didn't give me a lick of problems except for that lying alternator light that kept flashing at me. And it was charging just fine. I had it checked twice.
Steven Andrews says suffering is good for the soul.
That's what I hear. That's what Mother Teresa believed. And she's a saint. Totally undeserved. You don't make people suffer if you can relieve their suffering to begin with. Life's too short to suffer so much.
We've been live for almost an hour.
Is your arm getting tired?
Somewhat. This is the governor of nuns where I grew up had an 8-door checker station wagon in light blue.
You see, those were real spoiled nuns. They actually had 4 doors on each side to get in and out. This carry-all had 1 door on the left side and 2 doors on the right side. They had to earn their place getting in and out.
We have to help 12 people in the chat.
Here's more cones. More cones.
Oh my God, it sounds like it was blessed. Did you have to wear oven mitts touching the door handles so you wouldn't get struck by lightning?
No, I'm actually Jewish, so they worship us.
All of you. That's what I said, not them.
Yes.
That's me. This sounds like a good strategy. It is more dangerous to drive 4x4 vehicles. I noticed you don't import too many Toyotas. Do you come across them or Range Rover Classics?
They are here, and they are here. Not so much Range Rovers, but the Toyota pickups are here because in the early 2000s there was a lack of pickup trucks in Mexico because the country was closed. All vehicles in Mexico had to be made in Mexico, and there were no mini trucks or anything else. So Mexico opened up the border for any open bed pickup truck to be imported legally and get license plates and everything else. So they were flowing across the border. I have seen a lot of Toyota 4x4 trucks here, but old now or 35 years old, and people dress them up like lipstick on a pig. and then ask like 180,000 pesos for him because it's a Toyota. So it may be worth more over there, and maybe we could, you know, strip it down, and I have a paint shop that could probably redo the whole thing and make it look brand new for like $2,500 with really good paint and everything, with all that labor, which I know would be about 50,000. You can ask Kiwi about this, but it would be like 50,000 to paint a truck like that over there, dollars. Yeah, we can, you know, do all the work, but they are all of the mini trucks that from the US are here. All of the big trucks are here. The Dakotas are here. They're just all, especially in my area, because we're only 8 hours from the border. And when they came in, they mostly stayed in the first state, which is Sonora, and then my state, Sinaloa, because when you get any like past here, then you need to have, you know, really good license plates and everything. The rules are different here in Sinaloa, so they mostly stayed around here. But I can find just about any pickup truck that you would want, because they were exported from the US and they've all been here all this time. Wow, there's a lot of bugs out here.
Yep.
My windshield is getting hard to see through. I'm down to a half a tank again. So how many kilometers do we have left? Being that this is a 10-gallon tank, I have to be really, really cautious about not passing a gas station. I'm looking for the mile marker.
Yeah,
that'll tell us, or the kilometer marker, that'll tell us how far we have to go. There it is, 70, so we have 130 kilometers to go. No, I better put more gas in it. This truck got, this car got a little over 12 miles per gallon before I filled up the first time, and it got a little bit over 16 the second time, and the third time it dropped just a little bit, which surprised me, because on the second leg we were going up, and well, maybe no, because to save gas I was putting it in neutral and coasting down all the hills. Maybe that's why I got the better gas mileage. But it's getting about 16, driving it a little over 120 kilometers per hour, about 75 miles an hour. So no, there's not a lot of traffic out here to show you any cars, Jay. And usually cars are driving a lot faster than I am. When I drove that 81 Valiant with the slant 6 and 3-speed on the tree out here, I was surprised how many cars I passed, how many vehicles I passed, not just big rigs, but cars too. That thing drove so well on the new tires. I had never had a slant 6 car out on the highway. Any slant 6 car I ever had, like my 63 Plymouth Savoy, has 413 gears or something in the rear end. So the engine is screaming on the highway, so I can't take it on the highway. And then I had a 75 Dart coupe that had the slant 6, but I had a 75 Dart coupe that had a slant 6, but the rear end was making a lot of noise, so I never took it out on the highway. So that was the first time I ever took one out. And man, I was impressed with how much power that car had to pass and maintain speed. I didn't expect that. People sing the praises of that engine, but you know, I didn't know it was that good.
Steven Andrews says, see you down the road. Are you saying goodbye? Is that a goodbye? I don't know if it is.
That sounds like a goodbye. If it is, we'll see you on Sunday, Steven.
Dan says, precious blood in Dayton/Trotwood. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry.
What's precious blood?
I don't know. Phone with car says, kilometer marker 111.
What?
We haven't reached that one.
Not yet. When we get to the 200 kilometer marker, then we're home. So yep. We're counting up. So there's 125 kilometers left to go.
Bruce Colton
yep.
says, be careful.
Thank you, Bruce. We are being careful. We have our strategies, and you know, it's not like we're worried about police cars out here or anything.
I mean, he meant the car that just.
He wasn't even paying attention.
No.
He wants to get around the truck, so he doesn't care who's coming.
Precious blood was the non-convent with the 8-door checker.
Oh, okay. It's an interesting name they name themselves. Whose blood is precious? Jesus? Or theirs? Probably not theirs. There's a lot of construction out here. Well, maybe. There's a lot of construction out here today. On both sides.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're in the last leg to get home. It's been a whole week that we've been away from home. 2 of our animals are at the vet. We have to pass by and pick them up. They're both very old. One's 15, one's 16. And so hopefully the little dog is cured. She was having a lot of mucus in her lungs and coming out her nose. So hopefully she's doing better. And the cat is the same because she's too old to operate on her. She has a hernia on her diaphragm. So that's the best we can do for her.
Comic Art says, looks like farm country.
It is. Sinaloa is known for growing tomatoes and corn and just about everything else that gets shipped, and avocados that gets shipped all over the country. A lot of what you see if it's from Mexico came from here. One of the license plates that we used to have from 2006 or 7 had a tomato right in the middle of the license plate. A red tomato on a white background and black letters, which meant you could not read the 2 inner, the digits that were on top of the tomato. You couldn't read them because the black didn't come through the red. So they got rid of those and came out with another style.
Pomodores, yes, pomodores. That's tomatoes in Italian.
Oh, okay.
Comic says, sorry, there is a slight delay between comments and it makes the context off.
Yes, there is. I don't know if you guys would be able to do this in the U.S. I know Kiwi did on his trip, but when I was living in Las Vegas, you would have cell service, then you could buy a hotel, a high-rise hotel, and you'd lose the signal talking to somebody because the internet service, the cell service went out, and then all that. Here, nothing like that. It is a strong signal wherever you go. It's not like we have high buildings in our town anyway. There's one tower that has apartments in it, but that's about it. We live in a pretty small town. That's actually founded by Americans. So it has a history with Americans.
Danny's trying to get me to do my Italian lessons.
She is learning how to speak Italian, Dan. But we don't have anybody around us that she can practice it with.
Conrad says, one new kitten looks like a little Black Panther and fell asleep during your stream.
Are we that boring? Give the kitten a treat so it'll wake up. More animals. We have 3 dogs and 4 cats. And before I left for the trip to buy the 81 Valiant Volare, I had to put one of my dogs to sleep because he was just so old and he had a really hard time walking and he was starting to have problems going outside to do what he needed to do. So it was time for him. He was 15 or 16 years old and had him since he was a very small puppy. But he was another one that I found in the street and brought him home, and he had a happy life, a very happy life.
We have more people on the chat. Fixing on the garage.
Hey, I fix it.
It is, I'm getting ready to hit the road with the 69 Cougar.
That's Jason.
Oh, hi, Jason. Sorry. It says, I was wondering why he knew my name. Because he said, hey, Anna. I was like, okay.
Jason, she's Mrs. Mexican Spec here.
Okay. I thought you forget it. I'm just kidding. I'm getting ready to hit the road with the 69 Cougar on a trailer. I'm so jealous, honestly. And the driveway of Misfits says Holomex.
Hello. We're on the road in Mexico. Jason, are you going to get the Cougar with the trailer, or is it on the trailer and you're coming back home? I mean, it is kind of early to have it already on the trailer.
way of
Look how much I'm moving the steering wheel to make this turn. It's just barely a touch. The suspension is so tight on this, and the steering is so tight on this car. It's unbelievable. Now I'm gonna have to get back in my Durango after this. My 2000 Durango. It doesn't have tight steering like this.
Wanna hand the Caribbean stud and rented a Dodge Viper and drove over the Hoover Dam.
Why a Dodge Viper?
In Vegas.
Yeah, well, yeah, that part I got. I used to live in Vegas, so I know where Hoover Dam is. And my father owned a boat there, so we would take the boat out to Lake Mead. But me and water don't get along, so I just keep it like that.
Driveway of Misfits says, what are you driving, Miguel?
Chris, this is a 1981 Ford Fairmont Elite. Elite was the top of the line car. This has, of course, the Mexican 302. It has an automatic transmission, which is imported from the US because there was no automatic transmission made in Mexico to put in the car. This car has the power steering, power brakes, air conditioning, which is not working, power windows, which her window doesn't work. We'll get it working. Power locks, which is the first time I've ever seen power locks in a Mexican car. Rear window defrogger. And look how crisp the gauges are for being 44 years old. And look how nice the dashboard is. There's 2 cracks in the speaker, but that's it. That's all it has. And the interior is nice too, apart from 2 cigarette burns. And they were from a passenger that was in the car. And I hope he got what was coming to him for doing that.
Public car says, sorry to hear about your dog. Fixing on it, Jason, I have to remember his name. Jason says, picking up the trailer now, I avoided morning rush hour. Public car says, Chris Rock is here. In your house?
Huh?
In your house?
Chris Rock?
Chris Rock is in his house, apparently.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, Chris is his driveway of Misfits.
Okay.
He calls him Chris Rock.
Okay. Yes, he's here. Public car says, I knew your name, but called you Mrs. Spec. Thank you. Public car says, Chris, they just passed someone with a Canadian plate. Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Dan says,
I'm sure they get looked at really closely at every military inspection.
Yeah. Really. Dan says, foxes always lose the AC refrigerant.
Well, it looks like there's some cracks in the air conditioning hose, but this car was in Durango, which is not a hot place, so I don't think they even worried about it. But the car, for the last 15 years, and even before that, has just been sitting in a garage. So they took it out every once in a while, kept the fluids going and everything. So they weren't really concerned about the air conditioning. But I have a really good air conditioning shop that we have to put a heater core in it, I'm sure, because it's disconnected. So we're going to do everything at the same time, get the fan blowing like it should. Of course, we have... Oh, it's not as noisy now because we're on a live, sure. Do me like that. So it was making much more noise earlier today. But it's not blowing out of the mix like it should. So we're going to get all that working. There's one light, this light for the turn signal, this bulb is out, so we're going to replace that. Wipers do work. Washers do not. It has intermittent wipers, Fred, which is another option that I've never seen on a Mexican car of this year.
Nice car.
It is very nice. But Chris, look for my video. I'm going to be doing a really long form video starting from the beginning because we've been on the road for a week looking for this car. And we've been through a lot of turkeys to get to this one. But it's just weird how things work out. We had bought the tickets to get on the bus from Guadalajara to go home because there were no more cars to look for. And the owner of this car sends us a message saying, yeah, it's available. When do you want to come look at it? And we said, tomorrow morning. So we switched from going home to going to Durango. Let's get past this guy because he's not very stable in his lane. So yeah. Oh, 140. Slow down, car. The deceleration is amazing with this transmission. It brings you right down.
Conrad Car says, wish I looked at crisp at 44.
Me too.
He also says, I said I only saw one once years ago in Buffalo Crest. Okay, never mind. He was looking at the Crest. Jason says, did you remember to bring your speaker to entertain yourself for the moments he's not talking? You remember the moments that he starts talking? As soon as he starts talking, I turn on my speaker. Yes, I have it right here.
Yep.
Turkeys, I love that word. Homie Girl says, Mrs. Spec should have brought earplugs. I forgot that. Yeah,
she has noise canceling headphones.
I do.
So she can listen to her music, but I need her attention because she's my navigator. And she needs to mark on the ways if somebody's broken down on the side of the road or something.
Driveway of Misfit says, that's an awful lot of work just to buy a Ford. How dare you? That's rude.
It is a nice Ford though.
It is a very nice Ford.
Yeah.
Lester says, our cat has slept all throughout the live stream. I've been awake the whole time. Bruce says,
Cats are like that.
Yeah. Looks like they could use some rain around there.
It rains every once in a while, but it's mostly hot. So the crops that they grow here are perfect for our environment, which is the corn and tomatoes. I know tomatoes need more water, but they do water. They have all the sprinklers. I've seen them on. I don't know if it's the season to be planting all that. What kind of car is that? A Suzuki Baleno. I have no idea what that is. Don't recognize it. And I don't think many Suzukis are sold in the U.S., if any at all. When we went to... comments?
Follow Curse's cab over truck you just passed. I don't know what that means, though.
The what?
Cab over?
Yeah, that means the driver is sitting right at the windshield.
Ah, okay. Sorry. And Dan says, Suzuki.
I always liked the Chevy Sprints and all those, and we took a Uber ride in a fairly new Suzuki Swift. It is still a 1-liter 3-cylinder engine with a 5-speed or a 6-speed. That was a really nice car. 4-door hatchback, really nice little hot hatch. Very pretty car, good colors and everything. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Driveway of Misfit says Suzuki left the U.S. market like 10 years ago. Car says...
what I was gonna say.
Oh.
What I was gonna say was, we went to Mexico City this time, and it finally dawned on me. I realized why they sell so many small, economical, small cars with stick shifts, because the traffic there is unbearable, and there's just so many people living there. You have to, when you stop, like you're in traffic, you're right on the person's bumper. The person right behind you is right on your bumper to let more people onto the road. And there's no way they could ever get rid of small, economical stick shift cars here. They just can't, like the U.S. did. It's just not possible. They absolutely have to have them in Mexico City, Estado de Mexico, Puebla, all of those areas that are just intensely, densely populated. They have to have cars like that. So people are starting to buy electric cars just for around town. But I don't know where they charge them. I really don't.
Jason says, Anna is called the cab over because the cab is over the engine.
Yeah, and your nose is in the windshield.
And Paul Car says, you will be lost without her.
I would.
Well,
That was my point on when you guys made the comments in that live, Jay. When I told you we broke down with Jason's truck, and you said, and your wife didn't get mad at you? I said, no, we're partners in this. This is what we do. I really do need to find an employee though, but I don't know if anybody's capable of doing what she does. I went the last time with my son's mother, and she didn't like me yelling at her, even though she was an employee. I said, that sounds like a you problem. I mean, like she's not good with the GPS, so we're driving the carry-all with no power steering, no power brakes, almost no visibility to the right side. And do I have to turn here? Do I have to turn here? Well, I don't know. Do I have to turn here? Well, yes. Well, you got to tell me before we get to the turn. It's not an agile vehicle. Don't yell at me. I have to. If you're not understanding what I'm trying to say, it's very dangerous what you did. Somebody could have ran right into the back of us.
Driveway says, sounds like Rome with all the little Fiats running around.
Yeah. The stress level there. I mean, we were not driving. The employee of the hotel was driving. And I'll tell you what, I do not want to drive there. I absolutely do not want to drive. I don't know what's going to happen if we buy a vehicle there and we have to drive it out. But the little freeways there, and they go in and intersect, and you have to get off and get back on. And it's not like you have a long on-ramp. When you get on the freeway, it's one car length long, and you have to jump into traffic. It's absolutely terrible. But the positive thing that came out of that was we have this employee from the hotel, and he will look for cars for us there.
Gas?
Is there a gas station here?
It says 1 kilometer.
And he has a friend that's a taxi driver that is willing to go out and look at the vehicles for me and record videos on them and send me the videos so I don't have to run over there. And you know we'll pay him whatever. We'll pay him whatever we need to pay him, and it's good to have connections over there. That's what I was looking for. And he's a very trustworthy person.
Driveway says, so do we get to see what you look like?
No.
Unfinished project says hi.
Hi, unfinished. Why does this truck have no brake lights?
I don't know, but
what are you doing?
Says, do they have people who will transport cars there?
I have a transport company that works out of Mexico City that...
Well, you work with.
Yeah, that I work with, that I was going to deliver the vehicle to them, and it would be about $900, 18,000 pesos, to deliver it to my town, which is a very good price for as far as it is. But I didn't end up buying a vehicle there, so that didn't really work. But I would have done that, and then we would have just flown home. And if we would have, because we went to look at a really bad gold one, but we didn't know it was that bad.
Jason says, hey, you've been getting more calls based off of the video from the carry-all getting picked up from the transporter in Jersey. If you want to see Miguel, you have to buy a vehicle. It's part of the package deal. That's
correct. I still will not take a picture with you without my face being covered.
He says another cover truck. We have a delay.
As far as the contacts, I have received a lot of them, but I can't do anything until I get home and rest a little bit. And I want to get into the gas station, but I don't see why they're stopping. But I need to rest a little bit, and then I'm going to get on my computer because I can't do anything on my phone. I don't like using the phone for making contacts and stuff.
It says they don't have strong enough camera lenses to show Mexican Spec on screen without braking.
Exactly. That's another reason. We'll go with that one.
Yes.
Does anybody here not know why I don't put my face on the screen? I've explained it before, but does anybody here not know?
Dan says, power windows in that car? Wow. Power windows?
Power windows and locks.
Yeah.
My lock works. Is this guy going to block me getting into the gas station?
I don't know.
With his double trailer? Or is he just trying to get ahead of the... I need to fill it up.
We've been live for an hour and 25 minutes.
No, gracias. Huh?
We're live for an hour and 25 minutes.
So you want to get off? I'm going to have to put gas in it anyway. It's getting warm in here.
Yep.
The sun is beating down on my black jeans.
Lester says you must be shy
Why?
because of the camera thing. Not showing your face in camera.
No, that's not why. It's actually a security issue. I've been in my town for 26 years. People know me. I stand out. And if they knew that I was buying cars and taking them to the border on a regular basis, they would not allow me to do it without working for them, putting stuff in the car that shouldn't be there and all of that. And I just absolutely would not do that. And that would create a problem for the safety of me, my family, my wife, my son. So I am avoiding all that by just not letting them know who was actually doing it. We've already been through this with the cartel once, that they made my friend give them money, or they were going to do something bad to me and him and my son. So I don't want to get into that. Just want to avoid it altogether. Is this it?
I think the gas station is afterwards. How's the temperature?
It's got an idiot light.
What does that mean?
It means there's no gauge.
Ah, okay. Yeah, the gas station is afterwards.
Well,
it's fastest.
Wish I knew that before I just sat behind that truck for a while.
How do you just sit in there?
Burritos, cocas, agua natural, Jamaica. No gracias, no gracias, no gracias, no gracias. It was funny when I was actually on the live with Tony this last time. We were at the end and he says, "You haven't said anything in Spanish." I said, "You didn't ask me anything in Spanish."
See?
He said, "Oh, you're right." I can speak Spanish.
Kind of.
Kind of, yeah. It gets me by.
Yep.
I think we're gonna have to end this. You need to get your wallet out. We're at a toll booth.
Me wallet.
That's what a big truck sounds like. I don't know how much it is though.
Jason says, I had a guy reach out to me about importing one of his vehicles for him. I explained to him I only work with Miguel. You don't know who you're working with, and I'm not landing in
Cuffs, yeah.
Lester says, that's smart. I was joking about shy.
I've never wanted to be in front of the camera anyway. Growing up in the San Fernando Valley, the movie industry was all around us. So I never had a desire, not one time, to be involved in anything having to do with that stuff. I don't like faking things. I like to be in the real world. And besides, my old cars always kept me busy anyway. I always had toys to play with. How much is this one? Is this the cheap one?
Maybe.
There's nothing saying how much it is.
157.
Okay. No, 97. We don't have a trailer. 97. You have money?
Public car says you have a face for radio.
How would he know?
I love the fuck. Hold on, sorry.
We're gonna end it here because I'm gonna put more fuel in this car. Oh, there goes the flashing alternator light. I'm gonna put some fuel in this car and we are gonna head home. We are really tired.
Definitely.
So if we get a chance, we'll come back another time maybe.
Okay, safe travels. You to see you on the stream sometime, Miguel. Drive on.
We have one tonight. We have one tonight with Uncle Tony.
Public car says bye, Mexican and Mrs. Spec.
Thank you everybody for coming. Your super chats are not expected, but what did Tony say?
We appreciate
I don't know. Bye everybody.
Bye, Ben.
Give me a llama.